My coworkers did not believe my allergies, and they learned the hard way. I've always hated being the sensitive one. It started in childhood. I'd go to birthday parties and couldn't eat the cake because of dairy. I'd visit relatives and couldn't sit on their couches because of their cats. By high school, I had developed severe documented allergies: nuts, shellfish, artificial dyes, cat dander, and pollen. Not the kind of allergies where you sneeze twice and move on, the life-threatening kind. Hives, difficulty breathing, anaphylaxis if I'm exposed to enough. My name is Mia, and I'm 27 years old now. You'd think adults in the professional world would be more understanding. You'd think people with functioning brains and access to Google would respect a simple request to avoid bringing certain foods into the office. But I was wrong. Painfully wrong. I work, or rather worked, at a mid-sized architecture firm. Clean lines, big egos, and people who think that their weekend in Italy makes them smarter than everyone else. It wasn't bad at first. The HR team had my allergy records, and my manager, Priya, seemed supportive. But then came Team B. Our firm had two departments: design, Team A, and planning, Team B. I was on Team A, the quieter group focused on floor plans and load-bearing logistics. Team B, however, was the more vibrant side. They managed clients, project presentations, and interior design decisions. Think loud voices, mood boards, and a lot of, this coffee isn't oat milk. Team B treated me like some overdramatic snowflake. They'd roll their eyes whenever I reminded them not to eat peanut granola bars in the shared kitchen. I'd overhear whispers like, "I think she just claims to have allergies for attention." No one is actually allergic to that many things. If it's that serious, why doesn't she work from home? The worst offender was Josh, Team B's golden boy. Tall, smug, with the kind of laugh that sounds like he's always mocking you. He loved to bring in snacks, donuts, cookies, candy, and accidentally forget the ingredient list. I once asked him politely if he could check whether the cookies had nuts. He smiled like a devil and said, "Well, it's not like I'm forcing you to eat them. Maybe build up your immune system instead?" I reported it to HR. They had a word with him. Josh pretended to apologize, saying, "Didn't mean to trigger a war over pastries." Things quieted for a week. Then came Allergy Apocalypse Friday. It started that morning with a catered breakfast. Team B had landed a major client and decided to celebrate. A huge breakfast spread arrived: pancakes, eggs, sausage, fruit, and pastries. But instead of using the labeled allergy-friendly vendor we typically used, they chose some random hipster bakery that made everything with almond flour. I smelled it immediately. My throat tightened as I walked past the break room. I turned to head back to my desk, heart racing. I took out my emergency inhaler and antihistamines, just in case. Josh strolled by and said loudly, "Oh no, Mia's going DEFCON 1. Everyone hide your muffins!" Laughter. I bit my tongue and tried to focus on work, but about an hour later, someone placed a box on my desk. Inside was a macaron, bright pink. A sticky note on top read, "Sweeten up a little, Jay." I snapped. I walked straight to HR with the macaron in a sealed bag and showed them the note. "This is harassment," I said, voice shaking from rage, not fear. "He knows these contain almond flour. He knows I could die if I ate this, and he left it on my desk." HR did their usual dance. "We'll conduct an internal review." Translation: nothing will happen, and nothing did, for a few days. But karma was getting hungry, and I was ready to serve it. I didn't want to hurt anyone physically. That would make me just as bad as them, but I wanted to make them understand. Feel it. Live it. So I reached out to my friend Jess. She's a freelance videographer with a passion for documentary work, and she had recently done a short piece on people living with invisible illnesses. "I need you to help me expose something," I told her. We decided to record everything. Not secretly, publicly. I started a video diary showing daily life with allergies. I wore a GoPro in the office. I asked coworkers on camera simple things like, "Hey, do you know what happens when someone with nut allergies is exposed to trace elements in the air?" Most said no or brushed it off. Josh, on camera, smirked and said, "Yeah, they go into shock or something, but only if they snort it." Perfect. Over 2 weeks, Jess and I compiled footage. Me using EpiPens for training purposes. Me in tears after another prank. Me going to HR again. Audio of Team B mocking me during lunch breaks. We edited it into a 10-minute expose titled, "Air Isn't Always Safe. living with life-threatening allergies in the workplace. We uploaded it to YouTube, then Reddit, then Instagram. It didn't take long to go viral. I didn't name my company, but I didn't have to. People recognized the office design, the break room wall art, even the company coffee mugs with our logo peeking out. The public outrage was glorious. Thousands of comments poured in. I hope that guy with the macaron gets fired. Allergies are not a joke. This is disgusting. Corporate bullying at its worst. And then journalists picked it up. Local news ran a segment titled Office Intolerance: How One Woman's Allergy Video Sparked a National Conversation. The firm scrambled. PR sent out a weak statement. We are reviewing the incident and have zero tolerance for workplace harassment. Too late. Clients started backing out. A celebrity designer cut ties, tweeting, "I refuse to associate with a company that endangers its employees." I got an email from the CEO asking for a meeting. I arrived, prepared. The CEO, Priya, my former manager, and an HR rep sat across from me. They looked exhausted, guilty. "We deeply regret the treatment you've experienced," the CEO said. "We'd like to offer a formal apology, paid leave, and a new role in an allergy-safe workspace." I let the silence linger. "I appreciate the apology," I said, "but I decline the offer." They blinked. "I'm resigning, effective immediately, and I suggest you fire Josh and retrain your HR team before this turns into a lawsuit." Priya teared up. "Mia, I had no idea it got this bad." "You did. You just didn't care enough until it hit your bottom line." I left the office with my head high. Josh? He got fired within a week. HR? 2 of the reps were restructured out. Priya? Demoted and relocated. But that wasn't the best part. A few weeks after quitting, I got an email from a nonprofit called Safe Air Workplaces, who advocate for people with allergies, asthma, and chemical sensitivities in corporate settings. They wanted to feature me in their next campaign and asked if I'd consider becoming a spokesperson. I agreed. Now, I give talks to companies on how to create truly inclusive environments. I've been interviewed on podcasts, I've appeared in a docuseries, and even consulted on legislation proposals about allergy safety at work. And as for Jess, we launched a YouTube channel together called Breathe Easy, where we share real stories of people with invisible conditions and how they fight for respect. To anyone reading this who's ever been mocked for their allergy, disability, or health issue, you're not overreacting, you're not being dramatic, and you deserve safety. I didn't get revenge by hurting anyone. I got revenge by telling the truth and letting the world do the rest. And Josh? I hear he's working at a small coffee shop now, with almond pastries. Life has a sense of humor, doesn't it?